I'm running out of superlatives for Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes, get in there. Danny rolls Houdini. Danny rolls Houdini. La 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 la. Yeah.
The equation is simple. 1 point against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light at 12:30 this Saturday keeps Sheffield Wednesday up. I'm even having to just repeat those words just to check they're true. Matt, I'll talk to you in a second about how you saw that West Brom game. But Andrew, you've been here from from day one on this channel talking about Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, you've been so positive. I'm going to ask you though, was there any point where you genuinely, I know you come on here and say, yeah, we'll win each week, but there must have been a point this season where even you doubted that you'd stay up?
No, not with Danny Roll. Not with Danny Roll. Danny Roll was so infectious. He was so determined. You can't beat the process of what he put into that club. Absolutely amazing what he's achieved. And even those two sort of disappointing results recently against Leeds and Ipswich, but of course heading in the other direction, well, at least what Ipswich hopefully are rather than Leeds. But even those did not deter me. I was upset, yes, definitely upset that we didn't beat Swansea and Stoke, 2 games we should have won at home. But I kept seeing that magical figure 50 in my eyes, and I knew we were going to get there. And I still don't believe that both Birmingham and Plymouth are going to reach 50. One of them is not going to get to 50 anyway. But having said that, as you say, the 1 point, just to make sure it's mathematically out of the way, then let's go get that 51 points if necessary. But no, I never doubted it. Never doubted Danny.
You couldn't have been playing a better team in the final game in Sunderland. We'll bring in our Sunderland fan to explain why that is in a second. But let's talk about that West Brom game first of all. There's a lot of angry West Brom fans at the way their team performed. Matt, I didn't see the full game. I've watched the highlights, but God, were Wednesday that good or were West Brom that bad?
Both is the honest answer, Mark. I honestly thought there's been a lot of talk about Carlos Corberán and how outstanding tactically he's been for West Brom this year. And at the start of the season, walking out the Hawthorns, I mean, they were light years ahead of us, and they played in arguably first gear, not even second all game. It was 1-0 on the night. It could have been 6 or 7. The exact opposite was true on Saturday. I just thought, and this might be doing a bit of a disservice to Corberán, I just thought he got outthought by Danny Roll on Saturday, or almost outthought himself. On top of that, you had one side who looked, because both teams had, massive, it was a massive game for both teams in terms of what they were playing for. And you had one team really battling, fighting, chucking themselves at everything. That was epitomised by Will Vaulks again, 91st minute, 3-0 down, shot comes in from the edge of the area, he throws himself in the way, trying to protect a clean sheet. It was a bit of both on Saturday in terms of West Brom weren't great. But also we were yet again for back-to-back weeks outstanding.
I think if you look at the stats, though, I think we're a little bit harsh on West Brom here, because at the end of the day, what I'd say to you there, Mark, is that Wednesday everyone performed, everyone, and that includes Beadle in goal. He made some great saves in that game. If you look at the stats, actually West Brom had more shots on target than we did, and had far more shots than we did. And possession-wise, they actually had 65% of the ball. We only had 35%, but we made it count when it mattered most. We got the 3 goals, and that's what it's all about. 3 goals in the back of the net. Ugbo at last scoring his first goal for 10 matches, so he can stay after all. And then, of course, brilliance from Bannon and the way Musaba ran through for the first goal, and then Bannon's shot for the 3rd goal, Windass following it up. Great stuff. But we mustn't forget that West Brom could easily have scored some goals in that game. Beadle belied his age. He didn't look 19 there. He looked 29. He was absolutely brilliant.
Okay. All right, then. Let's talk about the permutations then this weekend. You've probably both looked at this table a lot since that result and worked out what it is that the other teams need to do to still relegate you. And it wouldn't be like Wednesday to go 1-0 down at Sunderland and to be seeing Birmingham Plymouth lead. Sorry. But Birmingham could beat Norwich. Are you happy with that? That could be a scenario. Norwich aren't playing for much. Birmingham have had a good result against Coventry. I think the one that's in your favour more is that Plymouth will not beat Hull. Are you on the same kind of thinking that that's the game that you can look to?
What do you think, Matt?
I would agree with you, Mark. I think Norwich proved that Hillsborough second half, they wilted under a crowd that actually got behind their team. First half, Norwich came out and did exactly what they should have done. They were gifted 2 goals in the first half. But again, had it not been for James Beadle on the evening, it could have been 4 or 5 at half time. Made some outstanding saves. Hillsborough kind of started to back the team in the second half, funnily enough, when we realised that we could take a corner and beat the first man. And we scored from a corner, which up until that point, the last time that we'd done it was November 2002. And everybody thought, well, I tell you what, if you're going to do that this evening, you might as well go and pull this back. I just have a sneaking suspicion Birmingham have a nasty habit last day of a season pulling something out of the fire against big teams when they need it. I think Paul Caddis at Bolton, they ended a Fulham 20-odd game unbeaten run. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if they go out on Saturday and beat Norwich comprehensively, let alone by 1 or 2. I think if they beat them comprehensively, I wouldn't be entirely surprised. I do agree with you. Hull going into a game away at Home Park. I know Plymouth are better at home than they are away. I watched the game on Saturday night when I got back from Hillsborough, and if Hull play anywhere near to that standard, they'll wipe the floor with that Plymouth team. And that's not me being horrible to any Plymouth fans, because, again, we have that connection with them in terms of going up. Yeah. Hull terrifying on Saturday, as were Ipswich, and it was, I think it was one of the best games of the Championship over the course of the season. But yeah, I would agree with you. I think Plymouth is the game to watch, really.
Okay. I think there's going to be a bigger crowd at Birmingham than there's going to be at Plymouth. Birmingham are a bigger club than Plymouth historically, and I think Birmingham City, they're probably going to make it and get a result against Norwich. But as to whether they beat Norwich, Norwich City are looking at that playoff situation. I'm sure they'd rather play the team that finishes 4th than finish 6th themselves and play Leeds, who are likely to finish 3rd. I think Ipswich is going to go up with Leicester, is my view. So they could be looking at that. So I don't think Norwich is going to bow down necessarily. It's going to be a tight game there. But obviously, it's more likely, if you like, that, agreed that Birmingham are more likely to get the win than Plymouth out of the 2 matches. Hull, of course, are hoping that West Brom are going to come and start against Preston North End. That's what they're hoping for. And let's see what happens there. So everybody will be watching each other as we, running, their ears to the ground. What's going on at each game to see how we're going to do things there. Simple as that.
All right. Well, that said, the good news I have for you both is that you are playing one of the worst sides in the league at the moment on current form at their home stadium, where they are equally as bad as some of the teams you've just mentioned. Let's bring in our Sunderland fan, Jack, to tell us more about it. Jack, welcome to the Sheffield Wednesday View. Give these Wednesday fans some confidence that they've got nothing to worry about whatsoever coming to your ground this Saturday.
Yeah, just listening to you worry about what Plymouth are getting up to and what Birmingham are getting up to, I just wouldn't worry about it, to be honest with you. As you get your job done. I mean, you only need a point. That doesn't matter what everyone else does. You need a point, and I think you'll get all 3. So I really wouldn't worry about it too much. I think you'll be fine. I mean, just show an ounce of fight and an ounce of good tactical nous, and you'll beat us. Simple as that. You'll be fine.
Thanks. We'll take that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And of course, Danny Roll's going to be there in the dugout. And Jack, you're looking for a new manager, aren't you, next season? Do you think? I think this is.
Well,
first look at him.
They may as well just leave him up here, I think. By the time, I mean, we're appointing one soon after the match. So if you just get back on the coach back, right, and just leave him up here, I think we'll be all right.
Okay. Do you think he would make the switch, Matt, to Sunderland, or if he's going to make a switch, do you think he would go for, no offence here, Jack, to perhaps maybe a Premier League team, something like I mean, West Ham could even be, someone like that could be looking at him.
The really worrying thing for me here, Mark, is it would look like the next kind of natural progression in his career, that kind of a move. I think it would be too soon to go for a West Ham job or anything like that. I think the move would just be too soon, ultimately. Ultimately, it depends on the conversation that happens in the first 2 weeks after the season ends with our chairman. And Danny Roll has been quite open in the press and said, I am looking for assurances and I'm looking for guarantees that there are at least some funds available to spend in the summer. We've paid 1 transfer fee for a player in the last 3 years. I mean, I've been quite open on this channel and on other platforms as well. I have zero confidence or faith in our chairman. We'll stick to his word in any way, shape or form. The only bonus for us is that he's on some sort of a compensation deal, but I know that money wouldn't necessarily be too dramatically impactful on Sunderland. It would worry me, honestly. And could I see him there next season? Sadly, yes. If we are not in this division, I think it's nailed on that he wouldn't stay with us. If we are in this division, honest answer is the toss of a coin, dependent on what mood and what side of the bed our chairman wakes up on as to whether he wants to listen to him or whether he wants to kind of just, again, puff his chest out, stick his ego out and just say, yeah, no, I'm not going to bow to your demands. I haven't bowed to any manager's demands as of yet. I'm not about to start doing it now, and hit self-destruct and rinse and repeat from 12 months ago.
Chansiri has got to turn the clock back 8 years. He's got to go back to what he wanted to try and do with us in the first place, was to get us back into the Premier League. That's what he came there for. He was going to spend the money to try and help us get there, and we came mighty close under Carlos Carvajal. He took us close. Danny Roll will take us there. Mark my words. He will stay at Wednesday, and his plan is to get us back to where we should be, and we're going to be there. And I hope Sunderland get up there with us eventually.
Jack, do you think your chairman would break the bank for a manager like Danny Roll, or do you think your man should break the bank for a manager like Danny Roll?
I mean, this is what they've been heavily criticised of, having, short arms and long pockets in some sense. I mean, I'm not necessarily sure how long Danny Roll's contract is, how much we'd have to pay him out, and what sort of wage he's looking at. But obviously, what I do know is obviously Chansiri's come under a lot of criticism about, we had the Darren Moore situation. Some will think that was better, but hiring Cisco Munoz as his replacement was not such a good decision. Danny Roll's a really good manager. I'd like to see him. And I think it's brave saying this after our last 6 months, but I don't think it's crazy to say that we right now are a more progressive club than Sheffield Wednesday. I think we've definitely got a higher chance of being promoted in the next 3 years. And I mean, like you said, that's possibly the next step. You never know. Sheffield Wednesday could be another summer of frees and loans and selling you better players, and they could end up in the exact same scenario in 12 months' time. Whereas you'd expect us to push on and kick on from this really woeful season. So there's a lot of names flying about. I don't think Danny Roll's the be-all and end-all, but yeah, I mean, it'd be a good manager to have. Whether they'd pay the compensation and whatnot is another question.
Okay. All right, let's get some score predictions from you both then, please. Jack, you go first, please, because you're the home team.
Well, a lovely narrative would be a Patrick Roberts dagger, who I know Sheffield Wednesday fans aren't a fan of, sent him down with Derby, killed him in the playoffs a couple of years ago, and he hasn't scored all season. He's due one, but I can't see it happening at all. I think it'll be quite a comfortable afternoon for them. As I say, they've got a manager tactically on another planet to Mike Dodds. They've got something to fight for. I think a comfortable afternoon, 2-0 Wednesday, and they'll stay up quite easily.
Take that, I'm sure. Andrew, wouldn't you?
Well, of course, we'll take any win. We expect for the first time this season, we finally scored 3 goals in 2 consecutive league matches. Of course, Blackburn and West Brom recently. Could it be 3 in 3 successive matches? No, probably not. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win there. The same score as we won there in the 69-70 season, where I remember that well. But sadly, the season we both got relegated from the old First Division. The division we're trying to get back to nowadays, which is, of course, known as the Premier League. So 2-1 to Wednesday, but I'll take 0-0. I'll even take a 1-0 defeat, as long as neither Birmingham or Plymouth or one of those two does not win. As long as we stay up, I really couldn't care what the score is.
Matt?
A nervy 1-1. Sheffield Wednesday, they don't do anything easy. We just need a point. Exactly what you've just said, Jack. Patrick Roberts is due a goal. He hadn't scored for Derby when he scored against us on the last day of the season to relegate us. He hadn't scored for you guys, I don't think, when he scored in the playoffs and then managed to pop up in the 97th minute. Correct me if I'm wrong, he hasn't scored again all season this year. So about to do the same on Saturday. You can see it's just written. I do then think we'll come back into the game. We'll be 1-1. We should be looking to win it. But I'm hoping the last 10 minutes is 2 teams basically just sat down on the pitch, allowing time to run out, and everybody goes home happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gentleman's jaw. Wonderful. Right. the last time then, good luck at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes,
this season. We will be live on Saturday afternoon on
He'll be
the
back.
channel.
He'll be back. Don't worry about that.
Sure he will. This may not be, I hope this is the last time we see you, but thank you for all your contributions, both of you, on the Sheffield Wednesday View this season. It's been a delight to have you both. Thank you, Jack. I'll let you pop off, and good luck to you at the game this weekend. You've been highly entertaining, and look, you've proven me wrong week after week, where I've written Wednesday off. I even wrote you off against West Brom. I never thought you'd win that game.
Where is that West Brom guy saying they're going to beat us 2-0? Where is he? I said he'd sort him out. Go on.
All right, good luck, folks, and we'll see you. Yeah, we'll see you next week, and in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to review all the Wednesday hullabaloo from this season, and look forward to the transfer window. Thanks so much, fellas.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
All the best.